Our top story this Tuesday, alleyway garbage collection could be a thing of the past in Billings. Discussions are underway about moving all garbage collection from alleys to curbside. The idea was brought up during last night's city council meeting. It wasn't an item on the agenda, but Public Works Director Dave Mumford wanted to offer some clarity to the council. He said there's no immediate plan to make the change for all customers, but said it is being considered and hopes to discuss it some more in the new year. Right now, Mumford says the city has been changing out many of the larger alley garbage bins to smaller bins that can be rolled to the curb. But so far, that has happened mainly in areas where garbage trucks have difficulty navigating the narrow alleys.
They actually have to back all the way up alleys. They're narrow, we're damaging vehicles, they're getting stuck in the wintertime. And so we're going in and trying to catch things that are actually operationally very difficult for us. We would, in the future, like to start looking at converting 300s to 90s because we can provide a better service. I mean, those people already have to put a can out in their front for the green barrel.
And also discussed at last night's meeting the future of the Alberta Bear Theatre. The City Council requested more time to determine if it should allow the theater to expand into the street. 2 years ago, Alberta Bear was granted an expanded right-of-way to include a new landscape plaza. But now the city denied the theater's latest permit request for a number of reasons, most notably its impact on the driving and parking lanes near the theater. Overall, the expansion would take away a total of 4 parking spots along 3rd Avenue North. On Monday night, a representative with development firm Sanderson Stewart explained the plaza would create more space for pedestrian safety. After considerable discussion, the council decided to delay the final vote, with the final decision to come no later than December 17th. Turning to Crime Watch, we now know the name of the man who was shot to death in Billings last week. Authorities say 25-year-old John Smathers from Anaconda was shot and killed at a home on Canyon Drive last Wednesday. Initially, police reported the victim was a Billings resident. Still, very little information has been released about the shooting, which is being investigated as a homicide. Another man, a 30-year-old from Billings, was also wounded. He was transported to the hospital, but authorities have not updated his condition. Billings police continue to investigate the circumstances surrounding the shooting. What was first believed to have been an accidental shooting in Helena back in October is now a case of negligent homicide. Lewis and Clark County prosecutors filed charges Monday in the shooting death of a former Rocky Mountain College and MSUB team doctor. The suspect, 62-year-old Greg Trude, faces 2 felony counts in the case. That's negligent homicide and tampering with evidence. Police responded to reports of a gunshot in the former Kmart parking lot on October 21st. There, they found Dr. Eugene Buzz Walton with a gunshot wound. Walton was pronounced dead at the hospital. Helena police had previously said the gun accidentally discharged when Trude attempted to retrieve his rifle from the back of the truck. On his LinkedIn page, Trude lists himself as an NRA rifle and handgun instructor. A teen who fired shots near Missoula High School will be charged as an adult. Judge John Larson says 17-year-old Dylan Conat has a violent past, and this latest incident warrants prosecution in district court. Court documents state 2 victims told police Conat tried to rob them behind Missoula Sentinel after they met at the mall. The victims say they were able to fight the suspect off and wrestle his gun away. Conat told a different story, and when he took the stand during an October transfer hearing, he said the 2 victims had attempted to rob him. He said he pointed a handgun at the other 2 in an attempt to get them to stop beating him. Conat also said he never intentionally fired the gun and that it had just gone off while the other 2 teens attacked him. Conat now faces an assault with a weapons charge as an adult. Authorities have released the name of the 64-year-old Billings man who died after being struck by a car while riding his bike over the weekend. The Yellowstone County Coroner's Office identifies the victim as Douglas Anglin. Police say Anglin was riding the wrong way on the King Avenue overpass late Saturday night when he was hit. The driver of the vehicle involved did cooperate with police during the investigation, and no charges have been filed. The company behind the proposed Keystone XL pipeline wants a federal judge to change his order blocking the project to allow for pre-construction work to continue. U.S. District Judge Brian Morris has set a telephone status call hearing Wednesday afternoon to discuss the company's request. Earlier this month, Judge Morris blocked TransCanada's permit for the project, ruling the Trump administration had not fully considered the environmental effects of the proposed pipeline. TransCanada attorneys plan to ask Judge Morris to amend his order and hopes Morris will rule that his injunction does not apply to activities such as finalizing contracts, purchasing materials, or doing land surveys. General season for deer and elk hunting came to a close Sunday, but there's still opportunities for hunters to fill their freezers this year. A shoulder season is defined as a firearms season that occurs outside the 5-week general firearms and archery season. Shoulder seasons are also performance-based, meaning that certain criteria for timing and the number of animals harvested must be met. Hunters need to make sure they're aware of special regulations for each hunting district involved. For the past 3 years, Montana has used shoulder seasons to help reduce elk populations in specific areas that are considered overpopulated.
We know that we're not going to be able to get populations to objective without the cooperation of Fish, Wildlife and Parks, in cooperation with landowners, in cooperation with hunters. So we're all in this together.
Hunters are also encouraged to connect early with landowners, as it is illegal to hunt on private land without the landowner permission. Before we take a break, according to AAA, 40% of Americans believe automated features on new vehicles allow the car to drive by itself. But that's not exactly true. MTN's Emma Hamilton has the details about these features and why they can be even more dangerous in the winter.
New vehicles have features to keep you safe on the roadways. And recently, there has been a misconception about them.
This car has what they call adaptive cruise control, which is a safety factor. It has side warning, which is, it's all safety. Front and backup cameras. So these cars don't drive themselves. They're the features that they put in them is to keep you safe.
While these features in new cars are excellent for safety, it doesn't mean you can pay less attention to the road. And they do, in fact, keep you safe. This technology saved Kaiser's wife and sister-in-law.
Her and her sister are coming back from Helena. They're out by Wheat, Montana, went up over a hill, 65 miles an hour, went over the top. There's 16 deer in the road. Before my sister-in-law could hit the brakes, they stopped.
With winter upon us, no matter what technology your car may have, the roadways become much more dangerous. Montana Highway Patrol responds to several accidents due to the poor road conditions and drivers using cruise control.
And it's because we are over-dependent on the technology of these cars. A lot of people set their cruise control, and whether they're looking down at the radio or they're looking at the mountains or the scenery or anything like that, bad road conditions can sneak up on you. It can go from bare, dry roads in the sunlight to a sheet of ice in the shade.
Technology does indeed make our lives easier, but new vehicles do not drive themselves.
Don't be over-dependent on the technology. It's easy with the lane adjustments and the cruise controls and all that stuff. It's definitely pay attention to the road and the conditions and speed. I mean, slow down. People really need to give themselves more time to get to their destinations. The following distance between the car in front of you drastically needs to increase, especially on icy roadways.
In Bozeman, Emma Hamilton, MTN News.
And self-driving cars have been tested by ride-sharing services like Uber and have been blamed for at least one death.